This might have a spoiler at the end. I saw this film on TV, and for the first part one wasn't that impressed. For one thing, I was recovering from that horrible, Aloha Scooby-Doo, and another was that I wasn't a fan of, What's New, Scooby-Doo. To begin with, in my opinion, it was nothing like a classic Scooby-Doo series. It was basically Rocko's Modern Life, with the Scooby Gang. It started out like a basic 70-minute, What's New, Scooby-Doo episode, but taking place in Egypt, and besides, the Scooby-Doo gang had already come across mummies before, so this was sort of a remake of Scooby-Doo and a Mummy 2, from 1969 and Mummy Scares Best, from 2003. And this film only focused on Scooby-Doo, who is my favorite character in the franchise, for only half the film. Other times it was just Fred and Daphne, or Scooby and Shaggy would just be in the background. The Ascoobus subplot was mildly amusing, even though Scooby still isn't saying much, probably as a tribute to the late Don Messick's great Scooby-Doo voice. As for the sound effects, they only use the classic Hanna-Barbera sound effects on a minor basis, mainly for exaggerated comedy scenes involving Scooby and Shaggy. WB has been doing this since 1998, and it unfortunately also carried over to What's New, Scooby-Doo as well. But the ending, however, made up for the mediocre plot and sub-average animation. They found out that Velma was the ghost. That was a nice surprise, and was a very nice exception to a now tiring formula. I recommend this if you want to see a Scooby-Doo cartoon that is a major exception to the usual formulaic plots. Could be worse. The jokes about the over-the-top reality TV shows are so worth the price of admission. Especially if you are like me and inclined to hate them for the forced drama and, well, the horrible taste of them all. It's nice to see Scooby mocking them. The problem is Egypt. It wasn't exactly Egypt enough. It felt like just about anywhere else, and Egypt is sort of a really big deal for a van full of American teens to visit. Instead it felt more like an establishing shot in the Old West. Very lazy for Scooby-Doo. The plus side is that the mystery is solid and the jokes landed, even if it did all feel a bit lackluster. Scooby-Doo, Where's My Mummy 2005. Out of 4. Scooby and the gang travel to Egypt where they run into a gasp mummy. Out of the 3 films I've watched from this series, I'd say this one here is the best, but it's still rather disappointing compared to the original show. Since I wasn't too impressed with any of these, I've went on and deleted the other 4 titles from my DVR. This one here features the best animation work as well as some nice vocals. The mummy looks very good, but once again the actual mystery is pretty lame. Stick with the original cartoon. My son adores Scooby-Doo and I grew up with the cartoons, so of course I do sit down to watch all the Scooby-Doo animated movies with my son that we come across. The latest find turned out to be Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy. And I must say that this was actually one of the better animated Scooby-Doo movies that I have seen in a while. And it is a combination of the setting of the adventure and my love for ancient Egypt that came together in a greater unity and worked out so well for me. This time the gang travels to Egypt to assist Velma in her archaeological work in the Egyptian deserts. Here they run afoul mummies, curses and traps in abundance. Sure, Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy does follow the traditional formula of how to make a Scooby-Doo adventure. So you know what you are getting yourself into here prior to sitting down to watching it. And I say that with the best of intentions, because there is something fun and lovable about these adventures. And despite every adventure is essentially the same, they are still fun to watch. The animation is good in Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy. And the art style is very much in tune with the classic Scooby-Doo. So again, there is something comforting in the familiarity. I did like the mummies and the design of Cleopatra. And the overall atmosphere there was in this animated movie was just great. It is always a treat to have Frank Welker, Casey Kasem, Mindy Cohn and Gray Delisle. Furthermore, there were some other nice voice talents to showcase their skills in this animated movie, which included Ron Perlman and Oded Fehr. The storyline in Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy, while very much the same as all other storylines in the Scooby-Doo collection, then there was still a very good plot twist reveal at the end of the movie. I liked that particular turn of events, because I hadn't seen that one coming. If you enjoy Scooby-Doo animated movies, then Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy is definitely well worth the time and effort to sit down and watch. I thoroughly enjoyed this particular adventure.